The United States is one of the most quote unquote most powerful positions in the world. Okay, the world used.
Now it's good.
Is it better now?
Yes. And you know what, brother? I want to, thank you for accepting the invitation to come on Underground Railroad podcast. And brother, like I say, he is a researcher and also he is a former. He is a former European player. What was the name of the team, if you don't mind me asking?
I played for several different teams in Europe. I started off in Austria, then I went to France, then I went to Turkey, then Italy, then Spain, et cetera, et cetera. I lived in Europe 26 years. I played 20 years as a professional, 3 years helping a friend build his team up. So he asked me to help him how to win. I retired in 2000, but played 3 more years, like I said, helping a friend.
Yeah.
But my education and my research came in Europe, different universities, museums, and my travels throughout Europe was what has enlightened me. That's what gave me my education and my, I would say, intellectual background, and also my ability to research.
But brother, the news, the headlines in the news, that President Biden has decided to drop out of the presidential race for president of the United States in year 2024, 7/21/24. And what was your initial reaction when you heard this? Did you think it was the right thing for him to do? Do you think it was wrong thing that the Democratic Party was operating behind his back to overthrow? If you can expand on it, I really would appreciate it.
Well, I mean, I think it was the right thing. I mean, look in 4 years, you've seen the cognitive mental decline of a man who's supposed to be, quote unquote, the leader of the free world. You see, so how can a person function in this state and be president? We already know, it's hard. It's not hard to say, but these are hard facts that he wasn't running the country in the first place, because of that cognitive decline. And so you got to look at all these organizations that were behind him. You got to look at all these organizations that have come after him. You got to look at a whole lot of things to throw into the pot to understand why they wanted to keep him as the president or a figurehead. Let's put it like that. Figurehead, somebody with a title and just there, power, because his cognitive function will not allow him to discern certain things, or the day-to-day functions of a president running a country like America.
Let me ask you something. When you say that, do you believe that a U.S. presidential candidate that they should take a cognitive test, okay, before they are qualified, before as being a criterion for them running for president of the United States? And should there be age limit?
No, personally, no. I don't think so. I mean, they're going to run tests and do things that they have to do themselves. Okay, check out his health or whatever. The problem with the situation with Biden is they knew his health was declining.
Yes,
and still they projected him as the 2024 presidential candidate.
Yes,
again for re-election, knowing his state. So that tells you the actual state of the country. It tells you who's running the country and the things that are going on behind the scenes that are hidden by the American media, both electronic and print, and their allies in Europe. They get what they want to get across, and they hide and conceal other things. And so, actually, no, I don't. Getting back to your question, no, I don't think there should be a cognitive function test of the president, because you look at China, you look at Russia, you look at certain countries in Africa, you look at certain countries in Central and South America, etc., who have leaders who are 75, who've had, if they don't have them today,
Yes.
leaders and presidents who were 75, 80, 85 years old, but functioning, didn't have mental decline. Okay, not as in the case of Biden. You look at, I mean, it's sad. Why would you want somebody in that state of mind to actually run for president when he really don't know where he's at? My favorite line is I got it from
Hmm.
a album from Gil Scott-Heron when he's talking about Ronald Reagan. He said the only thing holding them together is Grecian Formula 16 and crazy glue. And so you got
But
to look
I
at it
have
like
to.
that.
You know what though, brother? Something I do have to say. By no means am I putting him down, because you know what? As we reach a certain age, we start to
Mhm.
lose. The average person starts to lose their cognizant ability. So I'm not laughing. I want people to know
Mhm.
I'm not laughing. I don't think it's funny or anything. But this is it even says in the Bible, once a man, twice a baby. Okay.
That's right.
So
That's
you know
right.
what? This is what the Bible says. You know, I don't
Yeah,
know what the
once a man,
Quran
twice a
says.
child. Yep.
Mhm.
But see, the thing is, the average person who has cognitive decline or whatever is not running the country.
It's true.
You
It's
see,
true.
that's the difference. When you have a leader, this man has to be functioning. I mean, you got aides, you got different type of political staff or whatever, your White House staff that help you along with certain things you may not understand or have difficulty, comprehending or whatever. That's their job. But when you have a cognitive decline, when you see it in action, I mean, you on stage, you're shaking hands with the invisible man, you're
Yeah.
walking off in the wrong direction. You have to have somebody to help you off the stage because you don't know where you at. You
Yes.
can't run a country under that state. And it's not a critique, and it's not what can I say? It's not a thing where we are against him on a personal basis. No, it's
Yes.
not that. When we look at all the things that the Democrats have done up until now in his 4 years,
Hmm.
the withdrawal from Afghanistan, which was a
Yes.
catastrophe. Okay,
Yes.
you look at the things, you keep supporting Ukraine in a war that Ukraine can't win, all
Hmm.
because, you're trying to weaken Russia. Stop, quit. You can't
Yes.
weaken
Yes.
Russia.
Hmm.
Russia's the largest country in the world. Russia's one of the strongest countries in the world, as is China,
Hmm.
as is the United States. So you
Hmm.
got three major superpowers. It's not just one superpower anymore. And
Hmm.
so those of us who think that we are this and we are that, when you look at the organization you was telling me about, this organization
Yeah.
2025,
Yes. The
let me
Heritage Group. Yeah.
Yeah. You got the Heritage Institute, you got the Hudson Foundation, the RAND Corporation, the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee, APAC.
Hmm.
They control our politicians. You know,
Excuse me. You have something in the chat room. I got two questions I'm going to read. One is, will she lose? I assume the sister's talking about Kamala Harris. If you want to address that.
yeah. I mean, come on, you. It's not a hard subject. You have incompetent people that's running the government.
Hmm.
Incompetent. You
Hmm.
know what has Kamala Harris done significantly?
Hmm.
Nothing. She goes to different places. She make as much gaffes as Biden do. She was talking about something one time. She repeated the same word almost 20 times.
Hmm.
And she hasn't made any significant impact anywhere. So putting her as quote unquote another figurehead, to help the Democratic Party, it's not going to work. People are not going to vote for her.
Hmm.
The only person who's going to vote for her or Biden if he was running are entrenched hardened Democrats that have, we were flipped over from the Republican Party.
Liberals.
Just add Jesse Jackson to the mix. We started voting Democrat. And so after that, what have we got? What has she got to show? What has she done significant? She has made no impact as a vice president whatsoever. Has done nothing significant for nobody.
So, in other words, are you saying that she knew that President Joe Biden was in that condition, and she stayed in an automobile and knew that he was driving towards a wall, and she didn't say a word? Is that what you're saying?
We can say that, yeah.
Okay.
Or we can say she was a willing participant in the getaway car.
Oh, praise God. You got another question in the chat room, and I encourage people to leave a question in the chat room, because this is not about me dominating anything. All I want to do is disseminate information and stimulate thought. It's from the Joyful Soul Truth and Conversation. That's my co-host on the other show that I do. He said, do you think Joe Biden's supporters will support Harris, the vice president?
Those entrenched Democrats will. Those that, no matter what you say, it's just like you remember how it was when we converted to Islam? Oh, yeah. Lord, we had to deal with mama. They're going to take your money. They're going to blue up the block. No, it's not the same thing. You don't understand. It's a whole difference. And so it's the same thing with these entrenched Democrats. We call them mamas, okay, because it's hard to explain to them why their candidate is inefficient, because whether you say anything or not, they're going to vote for him. You look at some of these priests and some of these pulpit pimps, they call preachers, that no matter how much wrong they do, these grandmamas and these ladies, don't you talk about my pastor.
Bishop Don.
They getting caught in hotels doing things. You know what I mean? So these are the entrenched Democrats. They're going to vote for her no matter what. If the world falls, the sky falls tomorrow, they're going to vote for her. Those progressive Democrats that understand what's going on and have seen this man decline in 4 years to the state that he is right now, they won't vote for her because they've seen her there and do nothing. She's done nothing. No significant nothing. She go places, she does this, she does that, and it's ineffective.
You know something, let me share this with the audience. I know somebody, and I'm not going to call their name. They said with Joe Biden, there would be more stability. How can it be more stability if he's losing his cognitive abilities? You know what? It was just dumbfound. I didn't get it. I didn't get it, brother. But like you said, people vote Democratic.
You were talking to a person with either not a lot of knowledge of the situation, or you were talking to an entrenched Democrat that no matter what, they're going to vote. Because anybody with common sense see that this man is in a mental state of decline, dementia and Alzheimer's and everything else is setting in. This man is not fit to run for president. And
he did the right thing by dropping out.
Right. And what stability? What stability has he caused? You are keeping a war going on in Ukraine. You started this war. Everything in Ukraine is you did this. And you did this in order to try to weaken Russia. You destroyed Nord Stream, which provided cheap liquid natural gas through the pipelines. 2 pipelines, Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2, to Germany, where Germany can distribute it throughout Western Europe. What did that do? For over 20 years, Western Europe has thrived. Germany is the powerhouse, the powerhouse of Western Europe, industrial-wise. Most people don't know that. The most powerful industrial country in Europe is Germany.
Yeah, you got other question.
Followed by France, a close third is England, then the rest of the countries.
You got other question.
Go ahead. This cheap gas fueled their industry, created their economy, created jobs.
Yes.
People don't know in America that America put the economic sanctions on Russia, on the
Yes.
import export of the gas and other sanctions they put on Russia. It backfired. It hit
Yes.
us hard because American farmers were getting cheap Russian grain and fertilizer, some of the best in the world. Ukraine and Russia produce the most grain and fertilizer in the world. People don't know that because they don't tell you that while they're lying to you through their media. These
You have a
farmers,
you got a question in the chat room, brother. It
go
says,
ahead.
why is it why is it you think it's so hard to find a presidential candidate or president? You say, why do you think it's so hard?
It's not hard, but our political landscape is controlled by AIPAC. It's controlled by a few other organizations, the Heritage Institute, Hudson Foundation, Rand Corporation, American Israeli Public Affairs, AIPAC, okay, committee. Our foreign policy is inexistent. And so when you have these organizations that control your politicians, you're going to get the people that they want in the White House. You're going to
Yes.
get people that they want in Congress. Do you know that certain congressmen and senators that they were against, they put money up to candidates to oppose them? If you were a Democrat and they didn't like you, they paid for a Republican congressman or senator or whatever. It's the same thing if you were a Republican and they didn't like you, they paid for a Democrat to fight against you. They want people who they can control in Washington and in the White House.
Yes.
And this is why it's not hard to find. You got Kennedy out there, whether he wins or not, but you know, this man comes from a family of heritage, you know, politicians.
Yes.
You know, assassinated and murdered.
Yes.
But at the same time, he had ideals. He got things for the American people and the country. We in decline. We are in decline. We are in decline, and we are in decline because of hegemony. We want to control the world. You can't control the world when you have other superpowers in the world that are diametrically opposed to what you're trying to do. Nobody wants American rule. This is a myth. This is a fantasy that they're pushing, and their policies are all directed towards this. And this is why they have little and no respect for the American people. And they put who they want in office, and they run the policy and foreign policies, which is inexistent, to do their will. How is it that AIPAC controls your politicians to the extent to where they have become foreign agents? Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. They passed the Foreign Agents Act, I think back in 1918 or something like that, when the German spies or whatever, or after World War II, during World War II, we had, you know, groups of Nazis here in America. Okay, so
you know what? You know what? Maybe that happened for that reason, brother. I want to. You know what, brother? I want to ask you something. You mentioned that. I'm sort of. Y'all see this? I'm gonna go off script now. Okay, you said something about the United States, and I want to ask you something. Why has China, which their president is President Xi, why has China been allowed to buy so much property in the United States, and some located by military bases, possibly to collect information? Why is this allowed? Why is this tolerated? I would say it was tolerated by the Trump administration and the Biden administration. Why is this tolerated? If it's an oxymoron, it doesn't make any sense to me. Can you give me, please, give me some?
Well, first and foremost, you got to look at people selling their property. People want money, and so if I'm going to give you 3 and 4 million, or 5 to 10 million, whatever it is for the land that you have, no matter where that land is located. If I want to sell and I'm gonna get that money, guess what? I'm gonna sell to whoever is the highest bidder. First and foremost.
Doesn't this threaten doesn't this threaten the
Well,
sovereignty of the United
a lot of
States of
times,
America? They're setting up intelligence gatherings to towers to collect information. Doesn't this threaten the United States of America? I'm asking.
well, let's put it like this, and I'm gonna ask the question with a question. Doesn't America threaten the security of Russia and China and certain other countries around the world also? What the things they're doing? Doesn't America have 800 plus military bases around the world protecting American interests? How many American interests does 800 military bases around the world discern?
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? You got 800 plus. You got the largest installation of foreign military bases in the world of any country in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Got 500 to 600 more than Russia. You know, England and all that don't even count. These are outposts. You got to look at the Pax Americana and the Pax Romana. The Pax Romana was the Roman peace.
Mm-hmm.
You pay tribute to Rome. We conquer your land, you pay us tribute.
Mm-hmm.
Administer your land. But you
well, you know what? But I'm asking, do you think that it is think that it's in America's best interest to have an adversary, a rival to purchase land in the United States and especially close to military? Do you think that's in the United States' best interest?
No, it's not in the United States' best interest, but you know, I see it twofold. First and foremost, you know, the first thing is me personally, you know, spying and all of that. You know, I can't say, you know, this is what the American government is saying. They are close to these bases, so they can spy on them. But when I look at it, and when I look at what this country has done around the world, America is spying on everybody. The CIA. Listen, most Americans don't know this. You got a spy base in Cyprus, the island of Cyprus.
I thought you were talking about the NSA. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
There you go. Go. So
I got confused. Go ahead.
That's the largest spy installation in the world. They can spy, man. They control the satellites and everything from that installation in Nicosia, Cyprus. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're spying on the whole world. And now you're talking about people close to you. You know, this is. I understand what you're saying, and I understand about America's security and this and that. But then I ask the questions. You want to destroy Russia. You've been trying to destroy Russia since 1945 at the end of the Second World War.
Yes.
You got spies. You got everything worldwide.
Yes.
And now you weary, quote unquote, because they set up close to your military base. You got spy installations all around the world, in Hong Kong and everywhere. Not in Hong Kong, excuse me, Taiwan and all this and all that. You know, my thing is, if you want security, you got to practice security. You got to do unto others what they do unto you. But that is not the American security apparatus's goal. You see, when your goal is
excuse me for 1 second.
Yes,
if you are enjoying this broadcast, please press the like button or the thumbs up, because it helps with the algorithms so other people can enjoy this broadcast and get information just like you're getting right now, and share it on your social media network. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, and you have another organization, which this is from one of the guys in the 2025 project, whatever they want to call it.
Yes.
Let me run down to you what they say, and this is an offshoot of that organization. It's called America First Project, whatever it is. This is their mission statement. Mm-hmm. AFPI exists to advance policies that put the American people first. Our guiding principles are liberty, free enterprise, national greatness, American military superiority, keyword, foreign policy engagement in the American interests, and the primacy of American workers, families, and communities in all we do. So when you look at that, I take key points because, my travels, and I've seen a lot of things, especially my thing is I've been in Europe during and after communism. So I saw a lot of NATO action. I saw a lot of action going on between America and the Soviet Union in Berlin. Because back in the day you had before '89, East and West Berlin. So I was there 9 years before the wall fell.
Wow.
While we go through games, sometimes I might have to play in Russia. Sometimes I might have to play somewhere in East Germany or Poland. We had to pass through Checkpoint Charlie, which is East and West Berlin, that checkpoint there. And so you see a lot of things. So you got to understand, it's a lot that exists, and our foreign policy has been controlled by these organizations. What I don't understand is we are such a great country, okay? If that is the case, why do you need to get foreign policy directives from the RAND Corporation, from the Heritage Foundation, the American Enterprise Institute, or APAC? Why do you need their policy initiatives? And when I said earlier, I mentioned American congressmen and senators acting as foreign agents.
Are you talking about the Trilateral Commission? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right. So now, when you acting as a foreign agent, that means you're working for a foreign entity. APAC works directly for Israel.
Yes.
Israel.
I get it.
Nothing else.
I get it.
Say what they want to say. Their major goal is Israel and nothing else. Whether the American people get any part of it or not is immaterial with them. And so, when you have your senators and congressmen, some of them are Zionists, as APAC is a known Zionist organization. It's no secret. Senators and congressmen on both sides of the aisle, those that support, they get money from APAC, they do the will of APAC, which is to control American foreign policy and to control American contributions to Israel.
Yeah.
And so, you see what I'm saying?
I get it. But hey, brother, I want to ask somebody. A joyful sound, the truth and conversation said, "Who are the American people?" I don't know how to interpret that question. Who are the American people?
Well, the real American people were Americans. Those were the real Americans.
Yes.
Okay, first and foremost, let's get that straight. The European came over here and did what they did. They stole the whole country. Yes. We all know that. That's history. It's not a lie. They want to hide it. They want to say this and say that. So these are the original American people.
So what your grandfather was doing. Any message for your grandchildren?
Because I happen to have known someone who was in the NSA.
Okay.
All right? And they don't know what they'll know now. I've been in their building with him. Did you see it?
Yes, sir.
And they...
Some people don't know what NSA is.
National Security. The screens like you watch on a computer.
Right.
All right? They got a room where they listen to conversations all around the country. All right? That's why I can say what I say. But they let me go because he was an important person. And they figured if he was pregnant, it was all right. All right? They made a mistake, but I never forgot that.